lights, breaking down the ties. Every wrong, every right. Got the insight, fire, and the Bama pride. When the Crimson's on the line, we alone for the ride. Bama voices on the call, we gon' break it all down. Roll it up. From the rumble in the trenches to the kings of the crown. Roll it up. Yeah, the tide runs deep and the show runs strong. Jack, Jeff, Trev, keep it rolling all season long. Every snap, every play, every headline drop. If it's Bama on the field, you know we never stop. Fast take, big stakes, tide talk all day. Alabama by CFB, we don't play. Christian spirit in the air, let the good times flow. Times flow. Roll it up. Only one place to be when you love.
Good evening, Crimson Tide Nation, and welcome to the 51st edition of Alabama Primetime Live from yours truly, Jackson Johnson and Trevion Ware, as we go over our takeaways from the DeBoer's spring press conference and some 2027 recruiting news and much more, all right here on Alabama, the voice of college football. Let me tell you something, folks, you're going to be in for a good time for a long time, especially as we go over our takes on the press conference. How you doing today, good buddy?
Doing good. Seeing day 2 of spring practice, hearing from Kellen DeBoer today. A lot to unpack, so I'm definitely ready to start on a little laundry list of what we got going on today. Other than that, today was a good day. Weather was pretty formidable. I have no complaints. Thankful to be alive. Thankful to be here to, talk some football. That's what we love to do, so I'm ready to get to that.
Oh, there we go. I mean, we're ready to talk about it. But first, before we go over our take on the press conferences bit by bit, we would like to tell you about how today's edition of Alabama Primetime Live is presented by FanDuel, where you can get top-notch predictions in the world of the NBA, men's and women's college basketball, especially with March Madness coming up. Some predictions on the Major League Baseball season, National Hockey League, a little way too early NFL predictions, especially with Mike Evans going to the 49ers and Kenneth Walker going over to the Kansas City Chiefs. And if you had to pick some winners for tonight, where would you lean towards, Trevion?
That's a good question, man. Honestly, I'm going to stick with the hardwood. Yesterday when I gave out some picks that were pretty good for our listeners and stuff like that. So I'm going to stick with the NBA, starting out with the Dallas Mavericks, starting out with my home team, the Dallas Mavericks, going against the Atlanta Hawks. Looking for Cooper Flagg to have a good game tonight. Obviously, the Mavericks are not very much good, but Cooper Flagg is the one bright spot on that team. So I'll start out with him. You can start out by looking at his points, for example. He's scheduled to score 21.5 points tonight. If you want to water that down, you can water him down for 15 points. You can mess around with his rebounds, assist combo, and you can put that at 10 points. 10 altogether combined, 10 rebounds, 10 assists for 10. I think that's pretty good. I think that's something that Cooper Flagg can do for us tonight. And also, I would also lean towards the other game of one of a former Dallas Maverick, now Los Angeles Laker, Luka Doncic versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. That's definitely going to be a good game tonight. Both teams are battling to stay out of the play-in. Minnesota is about the 3 seed, I believe, and the Los Angeles Lakers are the 6 seed. So it's going to be a showdown of stars tonight. Looking at Anthony Edwards and Luka Doncic, both should have pretty good games tonight. If you wanted to get some action on that, you could probably alt Luka Doncic's line down to 25 points, and you can do the same for Anthony Edwards, 25 points. I think both of the stars are going to come out and play very good tonight. So I definitely think that's a good spot to start from in that game. Luka Doncic and Anthony Edwards, I think that's definitely doable for both of them. And also you can look at let me see, because there's a lot of action going on in NBA, especially as the playoffs grow closer. Scroll up for me real quick, Jackson. You can also look at the Boston Celtics versus the San Antonio Spurs. Jason Tatum has come back from that Achilles injury, and he's played very good in his first 2 games. He roughed up my Dallas Mavericks for almost a triple-double. The first game he came back, he had 15 points, 12 rebounds, and 7 assists. So I definitely think that you could put Jason Tatum down for 15 tonight. Obviously, they got the alien over there in San Antonio, Victor Wembanyama. You can put him down for about 20 points. He's good for a 20 ball tonight. So I definitely think that that's doable for both sides. Also, if you want to look at different prop lines, different bets like first basket bets, over, under, defensive rebounds, parlay builders, spreads, anything of that nature. FanDuel definitely has everything that you'll be looking for on the betting market. That's why we go to them. That's why we appreciate them for their sponsorship. So definitely tap in and see what FanDuel has tonight. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be a jam-packed night of NBA action. So you definitely want to get into that. So definitely tap in and see what our good partners at FanDuel have for sure. They'll get you squared away and ready to play.
Agreed. And of course, we will go ahead and get this show started with the spring press conference today. Like, we're going to get to the meat and bones of this show. And, we kind of clipped it up into 3 parts, of course, because we want to go over a little bit about it. And, the first part, we'll give you a little hint. Coach DeBoer talked a little bit about the injury updates and the QB battle and the O-line rebuild, but we'll go ahead and play this for you. Watch.
Time of the year where it's all about the work, and guys did that, in the weight room, a good 7 weeks, and get on the football field, what they love to do. So we'll still, every other day be hitting the weights and making sure our conditioning is good, but 2 practices in already. So questions? There's some guys that are still limited or out, really going back to the season. So nothing new that's happened in practice the first couple of days. Who you got? You got Zebo Latham, will be out for the spring. You got Bray will be limited contact, just coming off of stuff from the fall. London Simmons will be out for the spring. Will Sanders will be out for the spring.
How the quarterback's looking? 2 practices in.
Yeah, you can tell that they've had a number of reps, from the last year under their belt. Playing with confidence, calling the play in the huddle with confidence. Both of them, light years of where they were headed a year ago, obviously, and they should be. Love, the talent level as far as that's concerned is not a question. It's just a matter of them building the rapport with their skill around them, making the throws when they're there, feeling the timing and trust, and just feeling comfortable in the pocket, and that just comes with time, feeling comfortable with your offensive line doing the job up front. So like what they've done through 2 practices, created some good explosives on their end, good feel, working the mobility when they have to. And that's part of football too. It forces scramble drills and things like that. When that does come up, that's helps our defense as well. So I think they're really putting a lot of pressure on our defense doing the same to them.
The turnover that you're looking at on the offensive line is high, even for the transfer portal era.
Mm-hmm.
Between all the new starters you need and a new offensive line coach, I mean, have you ever started from scratch with an offensive line quite like this?
Maybe not quite to that extent across the board when you talk about the coach and all the players. But you've had times where there's 3-4 starters that you have to replace. And so guys are hungry. Guys come in, they're wide-eyed, ready to learn. It creates competition. That's what you want across your team, but especially in that room. And they, really made a lot of improvements in the strength and, really excited about, you want to be excited about every guy, but excited about some certain guys in particular. And now you just got to see that translate onto the football field. And right now there's still some thinking going on. They're trying to get used to just what their job is, much less trying to get used to playing with the guy next to them and hearing those calls when the bullets are really flying. Walkthroughs are one thing, in the meeting rooms another. But now you get on the football field. So there's a learning curve that these guys will go through, but I'm excited about what Coach Clem brings and, the mindset. And that's really what you're trying to create as a football team, but especially up front, you're creating a mindset, creating an attitude here as you go through the practices.
Just kind of like going over those first 3 minutes of that clip. What were your takeaways from it, Trevion?
Obviously starting out with the injuries and stuff like that. Obviously, we already knew about the statuses of London Simmons, of a Will Sanders, and Danny Lewis. So that really provides a lot of opportunity for some younger players to, just step up and make the most of their opportunities and gain some trust within this Alabama coaching staff to show that if these guys were to be out long term, that they could step up. And some guys that I am talking about in that light would be players like a Edger Kill, for example, would be players like an older player like Kendrick Bingley Jones on that defensive line to step up for London Simmons, and just some players like that. Also at the tight end position, that would allow a player like a Marshall Pritchard or a Max Stutter to step up as well. So it's no problem there. Obviously, a lot of stuff is for precautionary reasons, like, for example, Bray Hubbard being limited and stuff like that. It's all precautionary, and, Alabama don't have to go to war today or anything like that. Kickoff is still 179 days away, I believe. So, everything right there is precautionary, so that doesn't really worry me. Obviously, the big topic in that moving forward will be the QB battle, seeing Keelan Russell and Austin Mack both split the reps down the line 50-50. And I said it on my X yesterday, said it on my Twitter yesterday, that this is a highly anticipated quarterback battle, and it really be decided based on what quarterback does what the best. Obviously, looking at Austin Mack's best traits, he has more size, he has more system familiarity, being in DeBoer's system now, coming from Washington to Alabama, sitting those 2.5 years, sat at Washington, so that's about 3.5 years, almost 4 years worth of experience. And also to note that Austin Mack is just 19 years of age, so that's a lot of promise there. I don't think a lot of people realize that he doesn't turn 20 until June 5th, so still a young quarterback, a raw quarterback, being 6'6", 235 pounds. He has a lot of command to his game. But then when you look at Keelan Russell, you look at the upside that he has, the natural upside that he has. I remember watching him from in Texas. Like, a lot of viewers know if they've watched the show. It's no secret. I'm from Dallas, Texas. Would see Keelan Russell all the time on Friday Night Lights, being back home in college and stuff like that, coming home just to watch some high school football. Would see him at Duncanville High School. He looked like a man amongst boys, just the way he was able to play with his upside, his natural playmaking ability, and his anticipation is years beyond his age. So with both quarterbacks having such a talented skill set and a lot of things to love about their games, it's really going to come down to which quarterback takes the ball and moves the chains the most. And I know that's kind of boring and stuff like that, but that's basically what Kellen DeBoer is looking for out of his quarterback. And he has two talented quarterbacks that I think that if they were to walk away from Alabama, they could start at a lot of places, and they would their markets would be robust. A lot of schools would be throwing a lot of money at them. So the fact that you have two quarterbacks that are capable of taking the reins from Ty Simpson and being the quarterback in the future, I definitely think that that's big. It's definitely a good problem to have. So it's only day 2 of practice. Day 2 wrapped up today. No practice tomorrow. Moving into day 3 on Thursday. So it's definitely a lot to this quarterback battle. I'm going to go on record and say it now. I don't think it'll be decided this spring. I think it'll have to stretch all the way out until August. Like, is that
it's basically going to be decided 2 weeks before the season starts.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Kellen DeBoer did. Like, I mean, even though it was a foregone conclusion that Ty Simpson was going to be the starter, just with his hard work and ethic from last year, but this year I feel like this is the more comfortable quarterback battle where you got two true contenders, and this is probably one of the most anticipated battles since Tua Tagovailoa and Jalen Hurts, or you look at Mac Jones and Bryce Young, them type of days. So, this is going to be a long-awaited battle. May the best man win. But both quarterbacks, I'm hearing some good things about both quarterbacks through practice. Both quarterbacks are showing off their talent, showing that they are coachable. That's always something that you want to hear, and showing that if their number is called, they'll be ready. So I definitely like what DeBoer said about that. Even though he didn't give too much, he's not going to give a lot. That's what people got to understand. This is a top battle. You can't just say what's going to be what, because it got to play out. It's just one of those things that you got to let play out. So that's where I'm at with the quarterback comments definitely think that it's a lot of reserve there, but we'll learn more as we see more practice. And obviously, the offensive line rebuild. A lot of people have been talking about that. I put it on my Twitter today, DeBoer's comment, and that kind of blew up a little bit. And I definitely think that it's going to be a slow burning rebuild. It's a period where obviously you're losing your two main pillars that was on the offensive line last year, and Caden Proctor and Parker Brailsford, and now you're just basically starting off from scratch, literally. I mean, the only person I can say that, I mean, obviously I got some other people who I think would start in the future, but the only person I can say that's going to start for sure, Michael Carroll. We all know that he is the highly touted recruit that got a lot of experience last year and was able to show promise and stuff like that. But it's obviously some other people that we think is going to start. But, I don't want to go out on a limb and say too much right now. But, yeah, like I said, it's going to be a slow rebuild. People got to understand that. I mean, but it's encouraging to see that Kalen DeBoer knows it's going to be a slow rebuild. He is accepting of that because he said a lot of good stuff about Adrian Clem and the mindset that he brings to this Alabama offensive line room, because that's where it all starts. It all starts in the film room. The focus when you're going over those fundamentals, when you're installing those different fronts and stuff like that. So the fact that Adrian Clem has that mindset of, perfection and wanting to get stuff right, I definitely think that's a big key, just because the teacher that Adrian Clem has been in the past at all his other stops. We've seen him have success at SMU, USC, UCLA, Oregon, the NFL with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, sometimes it takes time to learn. And from what I'm hearing from this position group, a lot of them are trying to soak in what Coach Clem is teaching. They are being accepting of that, hey, you're going to be corrected. Coach Clem, for what I've seen, every shot I've seen of him, he looks like a no-nonsense, no-tolerance type of coach, and that's what they need. They need that type of nastiness up front. They need that type of tenacity up front. They need that type of energy up front, and Coach Clem is definitely bringing that. So the fact that Kalen DeBoer, like I said, is accepting that, hey, this is going to be a long process. Like I said, Alabama not going to war tomorrow, so, all we got is time. So the fact that they are taking their time with that position, taking their time to get it right, Coach DeBoer, Coach Ryan Grubb, Coach Clem, even working with the tight ends, Coach Owens, because they go hand in hand. You need the tight ends to kind of help out with some protection and stuff like that. So the fact that they're all being patient in this time, that's a very big thing for me. So I definitely loved what DeBoer was saying in that regard, because we saw this past season, and I knew this before, but last year was like a big refresher course for me again. You can have all the talent you want on the outside. You can have all the skill makers that you want. But at the end of the day, if you're not getting no push up in them trenches, you're not getting no push up front, it's all for nothing. So the fact that, like I said, they are being very intentional with teaching the different players and giving different players opportunities, to throw them in the fire of practice and make those mistakes and teach upon those mistakes early on, it's definitely going to be a big thing. And I definitely think it can materialize to some great things, because once again, I mean, they only can go up, man. It was one of the worst. It was one of the worst units in college football last year. I mean,
well, when you mention Adrian Clem's tenure at what he did at SMU, because like when he got there with June Jones, SMU was just like this forgotten team, after the death penalty that they got in the 80s, for too many recruiting violations from the Southwest Conference days. And they were always like the doormat, but like June Jones turned them around. But guess who was part of that coaching staff? Adrian Clem. And then he's like playing a part in UCLA's turnaround in 2012 through 2016. But then the moment he left UCLA went downhill in 2017, with the exception of their comeback against Texas A&M, but that was it. And, the number one offensive line in 2022 in college football, Oregon Ducks. Clem had a lot to do with that. And, Coach Clem, is really going to turn around this offensive line for the Crimson Tide. Yeah, and we don't have – Alabama does not have to deal with having Kaplovic anymore. Kaplovic's now at Auburn, so bye-bye to Kaplovic. And
Yeah,
hello
but
to Adrian Clem.
Yeah, but just to wrap up that point, that just shows how serious they are this year. I mean, I love the seriousness coming out of DeBoer's voice, hearing that they are, like I said, trying to get that position right because they can't afford to get it wrong this year because it's going to be hell to pay if they get it wrong. So I'm not going to say what's going to happen particularly, but it'll definitely be an issue if they were to get that position wrong 2 years in a row. So with all the talented skill players that they have, you got 2 talented quarterbacks, you got to get it right. So definitely loving what we heard from clip 1. But now let's go to clip 2. DeBoer also had a lot to say about the incoming freshman class, the status of Dre Kirkpatrick Jr., and leadership of Ryan Williams, expectations inside linebackers, and much more. But let's let DeBoer take it away.
Coach, 2 practices in, including the fourth quarter. Which incoming freshmen have stood out to you? Do you see anybody being able to contribute bigly in the fall?
Yeah, I think it's too early to just sit and pick guys up. I mean, I'm really pleased with them as a whole. I think it starts with, the way that they've built their bodies up. Some guys, and I know you guys have seen we released the weights and some guys have put on some really good weight, and it's exciting to see that already and what that could be now, but especially in the fall as they continue to feel that weight and move with it. The horsepower underneath the pads when we put those on. Staff did a great job, I think, recruiting guys that can come in like we did the last 2 years that can play early. These guys are going to have to figure it out. The learning curve we talk about with being new and get out there and be ready to compete. They get the install now, they get the install again in the summer, they get the install in the fall. And so by that time, there's a lot of guys that I know will be able to help us out.
Looked like Drake back out there. Where does he stand? What did it take to get him?
Yeah. He, had consequences for what he did and the things he's gone through. Still pieces to that that he's taken care of when it comes to those consequences with the team, but missed a lot of the season last year to be able to get back in the spot where he's on the football field. But he met those requirements and has a great attitude about him. He loves ball, and he's got to build the trust up with his teammates out there on the football field every day that he'll do the things not just on the field but off as well to meet the standard of what our program expects.
What have the conversations been like with Ryan Williams becoming an upperclassman, germ leaving, and trying to fill that void at the top?
Well, Ryan, you maybe we can find someone, but just off the top of my head, he's probably played as many snaps as anyone on our offense. That's, again, the turnover that speaks to that. But, he's taken that on. He's taken on a leadership role, and in order to lead and be vocal like he has, and it's in him. And he just brings an energy and enthusiasm that you guys all see. It's nonstop. But in order to do that, you have to do the work. And he's always done the work. And I really feel like he's seeing an opportunity. He continues to raise the work, raise the level that and be efficient in it. Because, he's always worked. But I think where he's focusing that attention, it's really intentional. And so it's great to see his leadership capabilities. Last year, I really felt like he took a great step, and now it's on another level. And so our team needs that. Our offense needs that. Yeah, no, we recruited. These guys are pretty much mostly sophomores. Like, CJ would be, a junior, I guess, or, older. And those guys were brought in for a reason because we saw the graduation of the guys that just left happening. And so they got a chance to learn last year, and now's the opportunity. Yes, they got special teams reps last year, but they got a chance to go out there now, compete, and then bringing in Caleb, who is a captain type guy. His leadership coming in has been certainly noted and appreciated. So, those guys all together, learning things together, just excited. And again, they're hungry, just like maybe other positions we're talking about, like the offensive line, where there's a lot of new faces looking for opportunities.
The spring game format coming back, is that something that your guys maybe look forward to, or you as a coach, where's your stance on that?
Yeah, we always want to scrimmage and have a great spring game. Last year, we just had two position groups in particular, but just we wouldn't have been able to put on a good show. We needed to get something out of the practices. Unfortunately, that was where we were at a year ago. I think we're in a different spot this year. We really haven't talked about it as a team. We're just focused on what's next. But, you know, we'd love to get out there and have some fun, you know, practice and get better and you know, scrimmage. That's kind of the expectation that we have for that day. You know, I mean, hopefully nothing crazy happens, but that's what I would expect for A-Day. It really doesn't change. You know, I feel like our culture a year ago, there was a window, and you know, we were able to retain everyone. You know, we coached our guys hard.
But yeah, I just kind of, I'm curious about the freshman class. You know, like I can't wait to see what that freshman class is going to bring for 2026. And I'm excited to see Drake Kirkpatrick come back for the 2026 season. But what was your takeaways from part 2 of that press conference, Trevion?
Yeah, just starting out with the freshman class. Obviously, Kellen DeBoer didn't highlight a particular freshman or a particular position group, but it's obviously a lot of gems in this class. I mean, you start out with a player like Jair Edwards, the safety, 6'2" safety, 221 pounds. A lot of people have been throwing his picture around online just about how big he looks at his size and stuff like that, saying he got the next up, and I definitely can believe that. So a player like Jair Edwards definitely excites me. Also looking at a player like a Cedarian Morgan, 6'4", 223 pounds. And that goes into, and that kind of tailors into the next point about Ryan Williams being the leader that he's been early on through fall camp. I mean, through spring ball and stuff like that. You know, taking it on his own to want to lead, to want to be at the front of the line, to be the veteran in the room. So I definitely think with Ryan Williams doing that, he can definitely help a player like a Cedarian Morgan. You know, not that Cedarian Morgan gonna need much help. You being 6'5", 223 pounds, like I said, man, you already a man child. So the fact that Ryan Williams, like I said, you having his mentorship and seeing Ryan Williams go through some hard times in his career, especially last year, and wanting to bounce back and wanting to take that leadership role on as well. I definitely think that's key. I definitely think that's big. So I definitely love what I'm hearing about Ryan Williams. Like I said, he's been leading drills. He's been listed as a player that stepped up vocally this offseason. And, you know, we've known Ryan Williams to be kind of a laid-back kind of dude, kind of just being not saying he's a kid, but, you know, just being a youngin' and stuff like that. Y'all got to understand, he popped on the scene at 17 years old.
Yeah.
Literally at 17 years old. And then last year, you know, having that success at an early age and stuff like that. I'm not going to say it got to him, but you can see when you don't follow that up with something better, you can see where all the negativity and criticism comes from. So I definitely think that Ryan Williams was able to feed off of that negativity and criticism and use it in a positive light to lead this Alabama wide receiver corps. So I definitely love that. And just speaking on some other younger players as well. Obviously, we've been hearing a lot about Xavier Griffin, 6'3", 222 pounds. Loving what I'm hearing from him, hearing that he has a lot of versatility. You can put him at Wolf linebacker. You can put him at his original linebacker spot. He's just a player that wants to come in and just help. So you definitely love to see that. He was the number one linebacker in this class for a reason. So even though the board did not highlight him out specifically, like he didn't highlight any other true freshman out, I definitely have my eyes on Xavier Griffin, and just looking at another player like a EJ Carell or just a Jamarian Matthews, or even a player like a Jordan Edmonds. It's a lot of gems in this 2026 incoming class. So the fact that they are taking the initiative and being sponges and soaking up all the game that the veterans got and the coaches want to give to them. I can see why Kellen DeBoer didn't want to just highlight any specific one, because they got a lot of them. So I'm definitely excited to see, like you said, what materializes from this 2026 recruiting class, but it's definitely a lot to be excited about there. And I forget what was the other topic he had on there, because I just said a mouthful. So
he was talking about Caleb Woodson being the captain type guy and the expectations for 8A.
Yeah, now Caleb Woodson, obviously him being one of the few seniors on this roster, you would like to hear those things about him being a potential captain guy. But I definitely am excited about him too, especially with Alabama losing all three of the linebackers and Deontay Lawson, Justin Jefferson, and Nakai Greenhill. That was over 200 tackles worth of production that they lost. And Woodson comes from Virginia Tech. He comes from the ACC, where he had over 151 tackles, 11.5 tackles for loss, 1 interception, and 3 pass breakups. So the production's there, and the fact that he's been a captain for the Virginia Hokies during his time in the ACC, I think that speaks volumes as well. So the fact that he's able to come in as an older type of player and lead that position, who has a lot of young players, has a lot of unproven players. He can lead a player like a Jamarian Matthews. He can lead a player like a Xavier Griffin. He can lead a player like a Caleb, like a Caden Jones. Some other younger players he can lead and things of that nature. So definitely the fact that he is taking that leadership role upon him, because you got to understand, he's still learning too. I mean, this is Kane Warmack's 3rd year infusing the defense that he's putting in, but this is Caleb Woodson's first couple months, and the fact that he's willing to step up and be a leader like that, and Kellen DeBoer already highlighting him as a captain type of guy, you love to hear those type of things, because
that's a win right there.
Yeah, you love to hear those type of things, because at that linebacker position, is one of the historical positions at Alabama, especially when the defense is humming and they're good like they are. So definitely expecting good things for Caleb Woodson. He can definitely be one of the heartbeats of this Alabama defense. They're going to need it. Even like I said, they got a lot of talent, but talent only can take you so far. You need that experience and stuff like that. I mean, I know he hasn't played SEC ball, but he's seen a lot of football in his college career. Like I said, over 150 tackles and things of that nature. So definitely excited to see what we can see from Caleb Woodson. He sounds like a tone setter. He sounds like a player that they can depend on when things get hard in the season, especially when they go on the road and, handling those road environments, making the calls from the linebacker position, communicating, lining people up at the right position, showing them how to be college athletes. So definitely loving what we hear about Caleb Woodson for sure. But moving on to clip 3, I know DeBoer. He also spoke on A-Day. I don't want to skip over that. Want to skip over that. Obviously, A-Day is April the 11th. Everybody knows that. But the fact that Kellen DeBoer said that we won the scrimmage, that should be music to a lot of Alabama fans' ears, and just people.
It's music to my ears.
Yeah, and just spectators in general who just want to see what the Crimson Tide will look like in 2026. I mean, it's going to be some 11-11 going on, defense versus offense, lineman versus D lineman and stuff like that. So that's definitely going to give Alabama the closest sneak peek to what they could potentially look like moving forward. Obviously, it was taken out in the past because of small factors, and the transfer portal not a small factor, but factors like the transfer portal and stuff like that. You see players that can be filmed for other coaches to lure players to other places and stuff like that. And you also got the injury concern going on 11-11. But it's football. Stuff happens. So the fact that Kellen DeBoer is looking to give the fans a good show on April the 11th, and also that's the only way you're going to be that's the only way you're going to be able to fully evaluate this offensive line that they are rebuilding. I mean, you have to see what they look like versus SEC caliber, versus an SEC caliber defensive line. I mean, yes, they see it every day in practice, but it's a different thing when you got a stadium full of people, how A-Day is normally and how it's going to be. So you have to see how they perform under that pressure. You have, especially with the group being young and there's a lot of replacements and stuff like that. So the fact that they are going back to that old format and they're looking to compete, and like I said, DeBoer, it came out of his mouth. He said we won the scrimmage. So the fact that they want to go to war against each other, I think that's a great thing. I definitely think that that's something that will help players over the summer as they go on summer break. Some might stay behind and stuff like that and work on their games, but that's like a test to see where you are. And that's going to help players want to work harder. That's going to show coaches, hey, maybe he didn't work at this position. We can put him here. We can line him up in this type of scheme. We can move him around the formation and stuff like that. So I think it's just a win-win for the Alabama coaching staff, the players, and the fans. Like we said, we get to see a good show on April the 11th. I mean, I live in Tuscaloosa. I'm always at the school. I was up at the campus today, so I'm going to be there on April the 11th. I'm definitely expecting a good spring A-Day. And also, it's just another good thing because remember last year the talk was about them potentially doing away with spring games and stuff like that. I'm like, man, that's crazy. We grew up on spring games. I remember watching the Alabama spring game on ESPN, ESPN 1, ESPN 2, the SEC network, and seeing Nick Saban in his straw hat and seeing them go to war. And that's how we was able to see some of the players break out and be who they are today and who they were in their college careers. So we definitely need to see that type of stuff. So just to wrap up the conversation on A-Day, I definitely think it's a good thing, and just praying that knock on wood, no injuries, but it's gonna be a good thing. We got to see what's what, and we got to see who need to work on what, who need to move out the lineup, who need to move in the lineup. So it's just gonna be a good thing altogether.
There we go. And we've got part 3 of the press conference as Kalen DeBoer goes over the spring goals, the areas of improvement, the wolf position, but also positional versatility and the transfers. Here we go.
What are you looking for from your team? What are little things we want to see this time?
Yeah, I mean, you're always trying to build and reestablish your culture with every new team, and it doesn't matter how many guys are new. The year starts over, and so we're trying to reestablish and build on the culture that we have in place, but reestablish what this team's going to be about. You're really focusing on execution every single day, trying to get better at and repetitions. Makes us all better, and then. We'll get to situational stuff as spring goes on. We were great in those moments a year ago, but the fundamental things, and our guys need to walk away from here when we get done with the spring with an understanding of our scheme. As again, with so many new guys, that's got to be there, but also how their techniques that we're teaching apply to the opportunities and moments that they're in. And so just walking away where they can do things in the summer when they have the player run practices, continue to get better. Really have an understanding of what coaches expect. What was the first part you said? Scouting. Yeah. I think there's a couple pieces. One, you got to make sure that you continue to maintain the strengths of who you were. 2 years ago, and I don't think we were necessarily undisciplined. There was just a lot of moving pieces, and a lot of guys probably overthinking a step slow, and now you get a holding call or defensive pass interference. But we went from one of the bottom teams in the league penalty wise to the best, and so that's got to stay a strength. Turnover margin. It still cost us at times, and the games we lost, there were turnovers, and losing that was critical, but we didn't have the peaks and the valleys like we did the year before. And so I think we ended up 4th in the conference in turnover margin. We can still be better there. We have to be better, but we made a lot of strides. Great in the critical moments, end of the half, end of the game. A lot of games were swung at the end of the first half. A lot of games were won with our guys executing, playing fast. That's a trust and a belief. So you got to make sure those strengths are there. Execution, especially when it comes to up front and being able to run the football. I mean, I don't think there's any secret about that. We got to do a better job there. That's going to open up the rest of our offense. Defensively, We dropped a little bit in our takeaways. We still did a good job. I think we created more pressure. We want to take the next steps in that area where we can get even more pressure on the quarterback and maybe do it without having to dial up blitzes as much, and guys just winning because of their technique, because of their understanding and trust that, they got guys on the other side that are, and guys that push up the middle, that can be generated to put pressure on a quarterback. Special teams is an area where we had a lot of turnover with our specialists in particular, but also the guys that were making tackles and making blocks from year 1 to year 2, 24 to 25. A lot of new faces in those areas. And so some more familiarity with guys who are out there, not just the specialists, but also the guys got to go down and cover the guys. I think in our return games, it's an area we can definitely improve on. We had some one-off punt return and a kick return. I think about Wisconsin. I think about Oklahoma, where there was a punt return and a kick return where we fell short. We were pretty solid other than that, but it's those one plays here and there that we can't give up. So just taking those next steps in all those areas, making sure that our strengths are what they are, is kind of what you're honing in on, and making sure you never take anything for granted. Yeah, I think the Bandit and Wolf, that gets you up about position flex. We talked about offensive line. I think there's some guys actually at the Bandit Wolf spot. Yanze, you guys will see when you see him. Maybe you've seen him out in public, but he's built himself up and continues to get better. I think he's got some position flex now, which is going to allow guys like Justin Hill, and different combinations, personnel packaging on the field. Dez coming in. I mean, I know I'm going to miss some guys, even DT, Devin being able to play inside and outside. So it isn't always just Wolf Bandit. But those guys, those guys have body types and skill sets that I think are going to allow our defensive staff to have fun, but put them in positions to go cut it loose and get after people.
But yeah, just kind of going over all that. Yeah, I like where he was talking about the areas for improvement for Alabama. That was just like my second takeaway from the third part of this press conference. What were your takeaways from the third part of the press conference, Trevion?
Obviously starting at that Wolf position. They have a lot of versatility, as Kellen DeBoer's said, going through drills, looking at the practice film, the B-roll that they sent out to the reporters and stuff like that. I was able to see some stuff. Seeing that group right now is Yanze Pierre, like he said, Justin Hill, Desmond Umazulu, Fatu Henry, and Jamarian Matthews.
He's going to be big.
Yeah, both Zulu and Matthews are in fact the starting Wolves, and they're at Wolf to start practice and stuff like that. They are being positionally moved around, and Kane Warmack is trying to see who fits where. Looking at that, it just seems like Alabama is trying to get guys at different spots, trying to see who can play both Wolf and Bandit. If Henry and Zulu don't fit, Henry could find some work elsewhere. But looking at that size and stuff like that, both Matthews and Umazulu are 6'2". They both solid defenders, so they're just looking for a second pass rusher, really third pass rusher to help Yanze Pierre, because everybody knows that Yanze Pierre is the leading pass rusher on Alabama now this year, coming off the season that he had, and how he was able to chisel up and get bigger the way he was. So looking at Desmond Ulazulu from our good guy at Crimson Coverage, Brody Smoot, he pointed it out perfectly, the way he's built himself up at 6'6", 253 pounds. He definitely provides a lot of positional versatility. You can put him back in coverage a little bit just with his height and his agility, but you can pin his ears back and put his hand in the ground. He can be a two technique. He can stand up and rush. He can put his hand in the ground and he can get after quarterback. And that's definitely going to be something that's needed because a lot of teams are already circling in red ink Yonze Pierre. They're already scheming to stop Yonze Pierre. I can guarantee that Eastern Carolina is already got Yonze Pierre's name on the bulletin board trying to stop him. So they're definitely going to need some secondary and third option rushers to get after the quarterback. So players like Justin Hill can definitely step up and shine bright in those spots. Like we said, Desmond Umazulu can definitely be a player that can do so as well. Fatu Henry can definitely do so also. And just looking at players like that, their ability to be moved around as chess pieces, and Kane Warman can just see what he likes, what he dislikes, and stuff like that. Just providing that type of versatility to the defensive staff, I definitely think it's going to be big. Player like Xavier Griffin can definitely hop in and do so as well at that Wolf bandit position. So it just seems like this Alabama defensive staff has a lot of toys to play with. They just got to see where it fits where. But to have all those options, I definitely think is big. It's just really just going to be the learning curve of learning this defensive scheme because obviously Desmond Umazulu is in his first year. Players like Jamarian Matthews in his first year. Fatu Henry has been in the defense, but he got to be able to prove and show that he knows what's going on and stuff like that. But to have all those type of options that you can lean on and mix and match is definitely, it could get scary on this Alabama front. So I'm definitely loving what I'm hearing from Kellen DeBoer just about the versatility and the fact that it's not just one guy, it's a group of guys, it's a gang of guys. So you definitely like to have that when you're trying to disrupt these SEC fronts, these whoever on your schedule you want to disrupt their front. So I definitely am excited to see how that materializes, who steps forward and makes the jump as that secondary pass rusher. And it don't just have to be two. Like I said, it could be three guys. It could be more than three guys, but we'll see. But just like I said, just to wrap that up, I feel like I'm regurgitating the same point a little bit. But to have all those options, man, I mean, last year they had some options, but I don't think it was as vast as this. So that Wolf position is definitely deep. It's definitely a lot of players that can learn, and it's definitely some good examples in front of them to learn from. So I'm definitely excited about this Alabama defense. I didn't think the defense was going to be an issue in the first place, but having all those pieces, they can definitely carry some of the load while this offense continues to find themselves, while this offensive line continues to reconstruct themselves. So it goes hand in hand. So, I mean, hopefully we can be playing some complementary football, but, I mean, if not, you can lean on that Wolf bandit position. You can just lean on the front seven of this Alabama defense, causing havoc for opposing offensive coordinators this fall. So I like what I heard so far.
Yeah, I mean, I feel pretty good about where the Wolf position is going to be for the Crimson Tide, especially after hearing from the first spring press conference of Kalen DeBoer heading into the 2026 offseason. It feels pretty good to see where the team's going to be, but there's plenty more spring practices to go. We've got 4 more weeks until the spring game starts. That's going to be fun. And we've got a lot of people in the chat. Sherry Jenkins giving out a Roll Tide roll from Braylon. Come to Alabama, Elijah Haven.
Hey, man. Don't get me started on Elijah Haven, man. We talking about the number one quarterback in 2027. He's broken all the state records in Louisiana, had over 73 passing touchdowns and rushing touchdowns combined. Obviously, you would love to have a talent like that in Tuscaloosa, but, man, this quarterback room is deep. They already set. But, I mean, obviously, Elijah Haven has indicated that the Crimson Tide are in his top 4 finalists. Right now, he's a 2-sport athlete in Louisiana, so he's playing basketball right now. So he's trying to focus on his basketball season and stuff like that. But we are expecting some news in the future just about what could potentially happen with him. obviously after spring break, and we move closer into April. But reading this next comment, Mike G 691 says, if Mac wins the job, Keelan transfers, in my opinion.
I doubt it.
I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, obviously, we kind of off topic here, but obviously, Keelan Russell, he's a special player. Austin Mack is a hardworking special player as well. Not saying that Keelan Russell is not, but Austin Mack following DeBoer from Washington to Alabama, and DeBoer having some loyalty to his players in the past like that. I mean, that's why I said you guys just gotta wait and see, man. I don't want to put that bad energy out in the air, but I mean that could be a possibility. But right now, we just trying to see. We only on day 2 of fall practice, man. I mean that's, but
Spring practice.
Yeah, spring practice. I'm thinking about the football. I want it to come tomorrow, man. But no,
I know, man. I'm ready.
Yeah, it's crazy, but I mean, we'll see, man. We'll see. I mean, if one of those players were to enter the transfer portal, knock on wood. I mean, you can't keep everybody, but the market for whoever do is going to be big. I mean, both I think are starting caliber quarterbacks at different programs if they were to go that route. But let's just let the competition weed itself out. Let's see who is the better quarterback. That has yet to be decided, because if it was decided, Kellen DeBoer would have had an answer already. We don't know. Austin Mack is a good quarterback. Keelan Russell is a good quarterback. We just have to see. We cannot. We can't say. I mean, it could be the other way around, or who knows what happened. But I mean, I get what you're saying though. But like I said, I just choose to be positive. We only on day 2. Spring ball ain't even here. So, but he kind of looking in the future, so I get that. But I mean, I ain't want to entertain that too much. But we do appreciate all our viewers and fans who hop in the super chat. Want to give a roll tide roll to DeBoer's 33. We definitely appreciate all the engagement and traffic that we do get from our viewers who are watching the show, who like, comment, and subscribe, and give us the energy that we feed off of to bring you this content. We also want to give a big shout out to our streaming partners at Spotify, at Apple, Facebook, TikTok.
Oh yeah, Amazon Podcast and iHeartRadio. Some of you can't be able to watch us right away on Monday nights, Tuesday nights, or Thursday nights, or any day of the week, or as soon as we go live. That's okay. That's why you can give us a listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, and iHeartRadio anytime you need to go to the grocery store, or you need to go to the gym to work out, or just to run an errand as a whole, or you're heading off to work. That's why you can tune in to Alabama Crimson Tide Live right here on Spotify, Amazon, Apple Podcast, and iHeartRadio. And of course, you can check out the Alabama VOCFB Ets account, where you can get top-notch takes in the world of college football for the Alabama Crimson Tide and much, much more. We would love to get to 300 followers before the preseason, of course, before we get to the summer. That would be pretty cool right there.
Yeah, we coming, man. We started out a little bit late with our page, so that's why it ain't even at 100 yet. But like I said, I'm on a mission every day to build engagement on there. But we got some very good content, man. If y'all just stay down with us and, believe in the vision, we can grow this page, and we can bring good content. We definitely would appreciate it if you haven't followed already. Take the time out to follow. We'll follow you back. Like you said, we a growing community. We a small community right now, but we doing what we can to get up there in the upper echelon. I mean, I look at my Twitter page. I got I'm about to hit 2.2K. So I'm just like, damn, what can I do to help feed into the mouth of our page? And so, I mean, I'm calling myself doing that now, but it's a lot of work. So we just definitely appreciate anybody that helps us out in the hand of doing so.
Oh, there we go. Oh, man. And of course, before we get to tell everybody about, we've got the VOCFB Ets account where you can get top-notch takes, discussion, debate, analysis with no off-season, and it's getting close to 7,500 followers. We'd love to get to the Voice College Football, get there. Let's get the VOCFB Ets account too. 7,500 followers all right here. Oh man, We got Locked On West Virginia in the chat. We got Steve the Buckeye in the chat giving a salute. Salute, right? There we go.
Salute. Yeah, salute to my guy
man.
Steve. Definitely appreciate it.
Love
Always
Mountaineer Paul. Oh, it's gonna stink. There we go.
Man, what do you mean by that? See, I ain't here. What you mean?
Oh, it's a running gag that Mountaineer Paul and I have. Like we tend to make fun of the opponents from time to time of like West Virginia or Alabama. We tend to say we're gonna make it stink for them.
Oh yeah, okay then. Yeah, we definitely gonna put that stank on them. They definitely gonna have to smell it for sure. But
yeah.
But yeah, just moving forward to our next topic, looking at this these interesting prospects in the class of 2020-27 that Alabama has their eyes on. We're starting out with Maxwell Hiller, Marshawn Sells, and AJ Polly. The three athletes. Polly is the lowest of the stars. He has 3 stars, 6'5", 260-pound defensive lineman. Is definitely a player that Alabama has their sights on. He's already been projected to be a potential target to commit with Alabama very soon. Obviously, we've talked about Marshawn Sells in the past. With his work, but we're gonna focus on AJ Polly right now, a 3 technique defensive lineman who can put both hands in the ground and rush the quarterback from either side. Looking at him, he already causes a lot of havoc. He is fast for his size. He's a player that I know Kane Warmack would love to get his hands on for sure. He's a disruptor. He's somebody that you got to double team him at that level because you can line him up inside, you can line him up outside. He's a run stopper. He's pretty much everything that you look for you in your young defensive lineman. So looking at a player like him, he has an upcoming visit to Alabama. I forget what date that is, but he has a spring visit coming soon. Could imagine him being at A-Day. So seeing the power and rush technique and speed that he possesses at this young age, you definitely want to get a player like this in the fold for the class of 2027. I would imagine that after this year, we're not going to see no more 3 stars. You might see a 4, 5-star out of him. So, Kellen DeBoer always has a hunch for finding those gems in the cracks. And AJ Polly is definitely a player that fits that mold. So it'll just be interesting to see where his recruitment is, where it lands. But some of the experts have already projected him to Alabama. So if we can get this type of defensive intensity out of a young player like AJ Polly, like I said, 6'5", 260 pounds, that'll definitely be key for the future of this Alabama roster. Like I said, he played the same position, plays a similar position to Desmond Umazulu. Can line him up on the front. He has a positional versatility to you can drop him back a little bit and let him be a spy. But you're seeing his main trait, he liked to rush the passer. And the fact that you don't see a lot of players putting their hand in the ground, he already got his hand in the ground. A lot of players like to stand up in that receiver's position and rush off the edge. I mean, I would too though, because getting off the ground and having to pop back up and fight the man off. But that's impressive to me at his size. Like I said, 6'5", being able to put his hand in the ground and rush the quarterback. So that's a pass deflection right there. So you just see his football IQ and play recognition for sure. So you love a player like that. Obviously, he's not a finished product. He's going to have to develop, but love what I'm seeing right here on film from Mr. Polly.
It feels like by the time we get to his senior season for 2026, he's going to move up to 4-star status, maybe even inch closer to 5-star, honestly. Because, I mean, like 3-star, that's too low. That is
man. Low. Yeah, I mean, it happens like that sometimes. It might just be the division he's playing in or, not getting out to enough camps or not enough people seeing him. But obviously, Alabama has made the contact with him, so the right people are seeing him, and I pretty much trust Kellen DeBoer's eyes when he say a 3-star is good because his track record on players that have lower exposure and stuff like that, he's pretty much hit. So getting a player like him. I wish I had his stats right now, but getting a player like him, somebody that you got to double team, somebody that relentlessly lives in the backfield. You got a game plan for him. He can shed off blocks. He plays with a relentless motor. Getting a player like that, hey, that's key, man. It don't matter what star you is. If you can ball, you can ball, and Mr. Pauly can ball. So I definitely love what I see.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I'm excited about what he could bring if he goes to Alabama, but it's like you said, it's probably because there's not enough exposure of Pauly, which is why he's not at the 4-star status just yet. But I think everybody's gonna.
Hey, but that's good for Alabama. Like I said, you getting recognized, and I know that'll mean something to Pauly. Before the exposure, Kellen DeBoer them already highlighted him. So it's all about relations and stuff like that. I know Kane Warmack has probably been in contact with him, and getting a player like that who doesn't have the stars he maybe should. I definitely think that that's going to play a big factor in his recruitment. Like I said, we just saw some of the experts already projecting him to Alabama. So it's probably like a dream offer for him. So we'll just see what happens as spring comes up. These players coming on campus for A-Day, coming on these individual practices, visits, and stuff like that. It'll just be interesting to see where Mr. Pauly lands. But we'd definitely love him in the Crimson Tide uniform for sure.
And up next, we've got Marshawn
Sales.
Sales and Maxwell Hiller.
He's an Alabama native, and the Crimson Tide are setting the pace going into spring and summer official visits. They are in a dogfight.
And that's the number. Yeah, Hiller, we've gone over him before. We'll definitely go over him again, as he is the number 1 interior offensive lineman heading into 2027.
Yeah,
That's
you can definitely. Yeah, you could definitely see why with his size. What is he? 6'6", 200.
Oh, 6'5". Oh, he's
6. Hey, but he probably gonna grow into that 6'6".
Oh,
But you can definitely see why he is one of those players that Alabama is going hard after, continuing to get that offensive line settled. He can definitely be a player in the future that you can build around. So would definitely love to see him in the Crimson Tide uniform as well. It seems like every big play that his high school had, the runners are running behind him, the skill players run behind him. He's a protector of the quarterback. He can play inside. He can play a little bit tackle and guard. Everything in motion is basically coming off of the back of him. We're seeing that right now on the film. So loving that. Hiller got a lot of options. He what's his other options? I know it was a couple other SEC schools. It's hard to keep up with all these kids.
Yeah, I think it was Florida. Yeah, I think Florida was one of them.
Yeah.
But honestly, he's got a lot. But Marshawn Sales is definitely the key to Elijah Haven getting to Alabama. Tennessee and Ohio State are the other schools that are looking at Maxwell Hiller.
Yeah.
So they're the other couple schools, but we don't. He'll definitely make his announcement sometime in the summer, I'm sure, but because he's planning visits around late May, early June.
Yeah. A lot of those kids like to have a commitment before they go into their senior year. So I mean, it'll just be hinging off of A-Day game and summer visits and stuff like that. But like you said, it'd just be interesting to see where Hiller's recruitment leads him. Also talking about Marshawn Sales, the 6'5", 215-pound number 1 receiver in the class of 2027. Him and Elijah Haven have a documented relationship. They both came down here on Junior Day in January to be wined and dined by the Crimson Tide at their Junior Day. So they could be a package deal. Who knows? I mean, especially you want to lock in a player like Marshawn Sales with obviously you got some younger receivers like Derek Meadows, Shadarian Morgan, players like that who already are 6'5" as well. But if Ryan Williams go off this year, like we all expect and want him to go off this year, he could be headed to the NFL. So you might have to round out that spot with another receiver like that. But Marshawn Sells is a player, even at 6'5", he can play in the slot. He can play on the outside. He's a player that just has a good feel for the game. And like I said, with that documented relationship he has with Elijah Haven, that could be a domino effect. So, I mean, it's no telling what happens there. But those are definitely three players that Alabama has their eyes on this spring that they could potentially be looking to get some commitments out of. It's no telling what could happen. Yeah, let's turn on some Marshawn Sells film. Even though we've just seen it several times, but it ain't never too bad to see it again. Just seeing his after the catch ability, seeing his speed at that size.
Oh, he made a man miss on that first
he
play.
gonna make a man miss. He one of those players that it take multiple efforts to get down. You got a game plan for this type of dude. Like I said, being 6'5", you can put him in the slot. He can take the top off of the defense and hit his head on the goalpost. You can line him up outside. You don't want to press him. Please don't press him, because he's gonna get inside on you like that, or he might go over the top of you and beat you for that jump ball. And at his size, he helped his high school out on some defense as well. So seeing that physicalness, a lot of receivers don't like to be physical. Not a lot of receivers, but some receivers don't like to be physical. But seeing him be able to play that defense, that's good too. And seeing him, it seems like no catch is too big for him. He can make all the catches that you need at that age. And seeing, like I said, just at that size, being able to get behind defenders, and I'm waiting for the jump ball. I love the jump ball. I want to see the jump ball, man.
You got it.
There it is. Yep, the back shoulder fade jump ball. You love that. You love to see that. You love to see that. I mean, obviously that's what he's built for. But
ask and you shall receive.
Yep, obviously that's what he's built for. But seeing some of those other plays, like I said, lining up in the slot, being one-on-one, once again, you don't want to press him. He got speed. He got almost 4.4 speed. So he can get behind any of your defenders. So a player like that would definitely shine in this Crimson Tide offense. I feel like we already got one in Darren Morgan, a 5-star receiver, but it don't hurt to have another one. Then just no telling what's going to happen in the 2027 season. Ryan Williams, we wishing him the best, hoping that this is an NFL year for him potentially. Who knows? But if Ryan Williams go off, the NFL will definitely be calling. I mean, so you definitely want to have this lined up in case that happens. But this kid does it all. He can run the intermediate routes. He can make people miss after the catch. The acceleration is amazing. The physicalness, finding the spots in the soft zone in the defense, you love to see it. So Marshawn Sells, that's a home run type of hit. If you can hit on that type of player, you got to hit on him. And we seeing the blocking. I know Coach Derek Nix would love that. Blocking is a big thing in this Alabama offense. You have to know how to block. So we love to see that. And just his ability to separate at the top of the route. We just saw him catch a simple hitch and was able to separate. So you love to see that as well. So, and like I said, blocking. Hey, man, he too big, man. You got somebody 6'5" coming at you like that. It's hard to stop him. So, it's just it'll just be interesting to see where his recruitment lands. Obviously, the kid is from Indiana. Coach Signetti and the Indiana Hoosiers have been hot on his trail, rightfully so. I don't blame him. I wouldn't try to let him leave the state of Indiana either. But he's a highly coveted player. So if Alabama can get their hands on him this spring, that would be wonderful. They can get a commitment out of him that might lead to some future commitments from some players like E.J. Haven. It's no telling. So this spring is definitely going to be a big thing for the Crimson Tide. But Kalen DeBoer being the recruiter and the communicator that he is, Derek Nix being the recruiter that he is, Kane Warmack being the recruiter that he is, and Ryan Grubb getting a second chance to implement this offense. And if it boom how I think it can boom this year, that's only going to lead to some more pressure just in the recruiting ranks. It's going to put more pressure on other schools to be like, hey, we might got to snag this kid up, or Bama snag him up, because like I said, Kalen DeBoer is an elite recruiter. So the fact that he has all three of these kids in the loop trying to get them to come, just got to keep your eyes up. So if we definitely see something, I'm not expecting recruitment from any of these kids till after April, leaning into June, July, potentially August. Like I said, a lot of kids like to recruit right before their senior year. You got camps going on and stuff, people trying to see where they can get more offers from where, who can do what, who can do this. So it'll just be interesting to see. But definitely some more talent coming in potentially for Alabama on top of the stellar recruiting class that they had in 2026. This was a top 5 class. Kellen DeBoer has produced continuous top 5 classes since he's been in Tuscaloosa, and getting any of those 3 could definitely spearhead the potential of having a third one. So we'll definitely keep our ears to the streets and our eyes on all 3 players.
For sure. And any breaking news on the recruiting cycle for the 2027 class or 2028 class, we will definitely make sure to bring it to you all right here on Alabama with the Voice of College Football, whether if it's a pre-recorded video or a live edition. Let me tell you, we will be making sure to keep you updated. That's why you like, comment, subscribe, click on the notification bell so you never miss no video whatsoever. And of course, we've got the merch store all right there. Looking to get some stuff for Easter, some little something for spring break. Hope it's not too late to go shopping for spring break, as that polo shirt definitely looks good for spring break.
Yeah, you definitely want to tap in and see what we got on the website. Alabama Voice of College Football. We got the trucker hats, we got the regular hats, we got the cotton tees. We got all colors, all sizes, unisex, men and women's, everything that you'll be looking for the spring. We got that. We got the cups, we got the cooler cans, we got everything that you want, everything that you need. So if you definitely want to tap in and see what we got, we definitely would appreciate it. All shades, all colors. We definitely appreciate that. It helps us make a buck, and it gets you in some swag. It gets you in some gear that you can say, hey, you can wear that anywhere, and you're gonna be nice. So I ain't gonna say too much about it, but you definitely want to tap in and see what we got, and we definitely appreciate that.
Agreed. And there was a little something from John Gruden's Ets account this week, and he was talking he had a little photo with Ty Simpson, and there it seems to me they're going to be getting ready to record for another QB session. What do you think, Trevion?
Yeah, obviously seeing John Gruden in the past, seeing him team up with some of the up-and-coming quarterbacks. I remember watching Jackson Dart of Ole Miss last year on there, and seeing him dissect his game. That was one of my favorite ones. Seeing him dissect previous other quarterbacks' games in the past. So it'll just be great to see Ty Simpson sit down with a football mind like John Gruden, and people can see get a clearer perception on Ty Simpson. Obviously, Ty Simpson had a great NFL combine this past February, where he pretty much solidified himself as the second quarterback in the NFL draft. And sitting down with a former NFL coach like John Gruden, as we looking at Ty Simpson, just looking back at the stellar NFL combine that he had, throwing the ball each and every way, making all the tight window throws, making everything that you want to see out of your franchise quarterback. Definitely love what we're seeing here. So it'll just be interesting to see John Gruden's football mind and Ty Simpson's football acronym kind of come together. So I definitely will be tuned in for that. Definitely want to see what Ty Simpson said, because John Gruden going to ask him what went wrong at Alabama. Obviously, Ty Simpson is a guy to say the right things. He always knows what to say. But and just to get some of the backstory of what he was going through from an injury standpoint, obviously he's proven he has a clean bill of health moving forward into next month's draft. But John Gruden definitely has a way of getting players to talk. So it'd just be interesting to see what question is opposed to Mr. Simpson that he can answer, and that could potentially give me a potential story to write. So I love stuff like that. I love seeing past legends of the past and upcoming players come together. So I'll definitely be on the lookout for that. What date did they say that? Did they give a date on that, or when they will be coming together? Or
When John Gruden and Ty Simpson are coming together, they did not say, but
Okay, but we'll,
if,
we'll
if I
definitely.
guess, they're
Yeah, yeah.
filming right now. I bet.
Oh man, it's no telling, man. John Gruden always working, Ty Simpson always working, so that's a perfect combo. So whenever we do get that date, we'll definitely be here to provide it. We'll definitely run the clips. We'll definitely give our thoughts and takes on what we thought was said and how we just our feedback on the whole production. But I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a great sit down with Simpson and Gruden. So you definitely don't want to miss that. We'll definitely be coming to you when we have the more details on that.
Oh, we will for sure. We will be keeping you updated. But of course, we've got the YouTube memberships of Alabama at the Voice College Football, where for $2.99 a month, you can become a Crimson Faithful member, where you'll have a loyalty badge next to your name in the comments in the live chat, custom emojis to use in the comments in the live chat, and you get member shoutouts. For $4.99 a month, you can get priority replies to comments and access to monthly hangout just by becoming a Saban disciple. And joining yours truly, Jackson Johnson, Jeffrey Donny Talk Sports, and Trevion Ware, where we can make some magic all right here. And for $9.99 a month, you can become a Bear Bryant legend, where you can connect on social media with each of us and give out content requests of any kind. And neither rain nor sleet nor snow nor the weird weather of Alabama will put a stop to us from fulfilling your content request right here on Alabama with the Voice College Football. Well, Trevion, what magic have you got cooking on Bama Hammer, man?
That's a good question, man. Talking with my editor right now, we talking about a potential story I wrote earlier. Obviously, some stuff that Kellen DeBoer's said that we didn't even talk about. I mean, we pretty much hit on the important points, but it's also some other underlying stuff that I heard and stuff that I can potentially turn into content. So, working on the story right now. On Caleb Woodson, the transfer linebacker from Virginia Tech, working on some of the incoming freshmen and the potential impact that they could have on this Alabama football roster. Obviously, Alabama does not have practice tomorrow. They will be back Thursday. Coach Grubb will be before the media talking for the first time this offseason. Players will be speaking as well. Players will be speaking as well, so it'll definitely be a lot to come from that. We might have to hop on again this week just to see if there's something specifically said or, something that's trending. We might hop on again, so it'll just be interesting to see what's said. But other than that, just working on just other ideas and stuff like that. Trying to see what's up. Just trying to see what's up on this roster. I've been turning it upside down and stuff like that. So just trying to be creative in my own space and build stuff like that. But other than that, nothing really, man. I'm enjoying the week. Like I said, football back to get away from football. Looking at some NBA. Like I said, we gave out our best bets earlier in the show. Hopefully can make y'all some money. Last night I gave out a couple good bets. I know a lot of people was able to benefit off of that who watched and who took my word, so definitely appreciate that. Gonna be looking at some NBA tonight. Looking at Cooper Flag, like I said, of the Dallas Mavericks. That's my team, even though they're in the dumps right now. That's my team. Looking at Luka Doncic. That's my favorite player. They traded my dude away for no reason, but that's a whole different topic for a different day. I can't even get into that with y'all because I'll be on.
Mary Madison sucks.
I'll be on another. It'll be a whole different topic. But yeah, other than that, man, just enjoying myself, living life, chilling, relaxing. Got some dogs I need to take out. I got a dog and stuff. I mean, I brought them on the show, but I got a dog. Got to take them out and stuff like that. But other than that, just chilling, man.
Oh, there you go, man. Tell your friends, your family, and the cashiers at pubs about the magic that Trevion brings on TBR1K, on @/Twitter, and at Bama Hammer, at Bandsided, and all right here on Alabama with the Voice College Football. Plus, you can also check me out on Jackson Johnson 979, where I have my show, The Jacksonian. But you can also check me out on SEC at the Voice College Football, where it's now Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Central Time, instead of it being Mondays after Crimson Tide Live. But of course, still doing the show at Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Central Time. But for more updates, what I've got going on the Jacksonian, Alabama with the Voice of College Football, SEC at the Voice of College Football, check me out on JacksonVCFB on @/Twitter and on Instagram and threads at JacksonJohnson543908. And with that being said, like, comment, subscribe, click on notification down below so you never miss another video or episode from Alabama with the Voice of College Football whatsoever, as we are 37 subs away from 3,200 subscribers. Let's get there before the end of this month. We will be seeing y'all soon. And roll Tide.
Good night, everybody. Appreciate it.